Hello, and welcome to the Ethium Battery Box Replacement, or BBR Installation Guide. In this video, we will go over how to install a BBR into an industrial vehicle. Please note this is a general case video. If you have an integrated unit or other special circumstance, there may be differences in your installation process. First, we'll cover the two different generations of BBR. This is the first generation of BBR, the BBR1. It is easily denoted by its button pad, which is not integrated into the BOS control module. This is a second generation of BBR, the BBR2. This has an integrated button pad into the BOS control module. Other non-visible differences exist, but functionality will remain the same, regardless of generation. Not specifically covered in this guide are 24-volt batteries for walkie jacks, rider units, or similar. These are often drop-in, plug-and-play units occasionally with integrated chargers and tend to be straightforward. While BDI installation can still be applicable to 24-volt installs if you option them, sections on key switch harness installation are not used, as these batteries have contactors. Before beginning installation of your Ethium battery, walk around the unit and inspect for visible damages. These could include damage to the casing, missing hardware, torn or missing labels, damaged wiring or connectors, or more. Use reasonable judgment, and if you feel uncertain about the condition of any component, feel free to call the support line. Here are examples of basic tools you might need during your install. These include basic sockets, drivers, a digital multimeter, basic wiring tools like wire strippers and crimpers, wiring terminals like spade or ring terminals, and potentially additional wire or splices. Moving on to the provided accessory kit materials, you will receive some or all of these wiring harnesses. Integrated units may have different provided harnesses. This is the battery discharge indicator, or BDI, harness. Note the blue connector lock. This is the key switch harness. Note the 2-pin connector and single wire. This is the E-Link harness. For BBR2 units, you will not receive or need this harness. This is the BDI kit, including the BDI unit, mounting bracket, and generic hardware for mounting. This is the E-Link kit, including the white E-Link box, mounting bracket, and generic hardware. Again, for BBR2 units, you will not receive or need this. For mounting of the BDI and the E-Link, do not drill into the vehicle body plates or chassis. The provided U-bolts, sandwich plates, and hardware are intended to use existing holes or features for mounting. Now it's time to interact with the battery touchpad. When the battery is disengaged, pressing the button once will do nothing. Pressing it quickly twice will light up the battery charge LEDs, showing the charge level. Note that while disengaged, the status LED will not light up. Holding the button down will switch the battery to engaged, turning it on, and lighting the blue status light. Now, pressing once will display the charge status of the battery. Holding it down again will disengage the battery. For the purposes of this video, physical installation of the battery will not be shown, as it depends on the application. Utilize the lifting points built into the battery casing, and use good practices, avoiding pinching cables, dropping or scraping the battery, and ensure that the orientation for the charge and discharge cables align with what the application calls for. Here, we show an example of a BBR1 installed into a forklift. Once the battery is in its designated spot, ensure the battery is disengaged, then take the output cable and plug it into the truck. Be sure that the cable is resting in a way that does not pinch or stress the cable when any covers are closed. Next, take your E-Link Whitebox kit. For BBR2 units, this is not needed. Using the included hardware, mount the bracket onto the vehicle in a safe, enclosed space where it won't be damaged or in the way. Be sure the E-Link is oriented so the top of the box has good signal clearance. Now install the E-Link onto the bracket with the 4 bolts. Taking the E-Link harness 18-pin connector, plug it into the bottom port. Be sure to route and tie down the rest of the harness to keep it from catching or impeding use. Route it down to the touchpad area. Near the charge connector, there will be some available connectors. Connect the E-Link harness to the available 4-pin connector. The 4-pin connector may have a dummy plugged into it. If so, unplug it and replace with the E-Link 4-pin connector. When powered on, the E-Link should flash a green LED from the Ethernet port. To verify, unplug and replug the 18-pin connector to power cycle and look for the flash. To start, download the Ethium E-Link Connect app on your smartphone. Log into your account and select Scan New Device. Place the QR code sticker in the E-Link kit somewhere accessible on the battery and scan it with your E-Link Connect app. For BBR2 units, you can scan the provided label on the BOSS module. This may be hard to access, depending on the install. Alternatively, BBR2s can be scanned using the serial number QR code. Please cover the lot ID QR code with your hand when scanning the serial number, as the scanner may confuse the two. Follow the instructions on the application to complete setting up your battery profile. Please remember to add photos of the vehicle, label, and information plates. Moving on to the BDI, mount the bracket in a safe space that is easy for the operator to see. Insert the BDI through the bracket and using the included plastic nut, tighten it down. Taking the end of the BDI harness with 2 connectors as shown, plug the 6-pin into the A port. Looking at the back of the BDI from above, you will see the port labels embossed into the plastic. The A port will be used, while the B port will be empty. Route the included harness towards the battery touchpad area. Be sure to use zip ties for tying down. Near the button pad, there will be an available 6-pin connector. Plug in the BDI and position the harness to avoid pinching or obtrusion. Drive-away protection is a safety feature that prevents operation of a vehicle while it is plugged into a charger. When someone attempts to turn on the key of the vehicle while plugged in, this safety system will disable the battery, prevent the vehicle from moving, and sound a buzzer. A key-switched voltage source will need to be tapped in order to allow system functionality. You will need to find a voltage source that turns on when the key is in the on position. If it is a fuse line, tap in before the fuse, so if the fuse blows, the system still functions. Next, you will need to find the key switch or a key-switched voltage source. In our case, the key switch is easily accessible. You may need to find wiring diagrams or other materials to assist you. Once you have your source, check the voltage across it with a multimeter. Once verified, use the key switch harness to interface with the key switch source. You may need to splice or crimp additional wires for this purpose. Keep in mind these important notes about the key switch source. It must be greater than 7 volts and ideally equal to the battery voltage. It must be an on/off source without significant delay. If it delays or decays for 2 or more seconds, it is not suitable for use. Be careful when checking for a suitable key switch source and ensure it follows the guidelines on the screen. This is an easily overlooked but critical part of the installation process. Route the key switch harness down towards the BDI harness, locate the available 2-pin connector, and install it. Once installed, re-engage the battery and turn the key switch on. This should activate the BDI, which will display the charge and status of the battery. Now that the battery is installed, verify that charging works as intended. Plugging into the charge connector should flash the touchpad battery LEDs. Alternatively, the BDI will display the status as charging and show the charge current. Before signing off, test the drive-off protection safety feature. To do so, plug in the charger and attempt to activate the vehicle by turning the key switch to the on position. This should sound a buzzer to indicate drive-off protection is active. To disengage the protection, turn off the key and remove the charger connection. Finally, validate that all basic vehicle functions are operable. Once done, you will have completed the installation process. Congratulations! If you have an integrated battery or other special circumstance, this video may not include all necessary steps for your application. Any issues or complications can be resolved over the phone with Ethium support at the number shown on the screen. Thank you for watching, and good luck with the installation.